let's start this clip by saying, if you are a right-wing media celebrity or wannabe celebrity, right? You have a grid somewhere, maybe not literally written out, but in your mind, because there exists one there. There is, it's a very different world than the sort of like left of center, online media universe. And to get on like Crowder at the time, before it was revealed how scared he was of me and how horribly he treated his pregnant wife, or Shapiro or Rogan or whatever it is.
Those are at the tip of the hierarchy.
Yeah. But then you're at the bottom, and it's like after Sean Spicer has had you on whatever network he's on, when there's nothing left. When there's nothing left, you go on to some show, I guess, with, is it with Ted Nugent? Is this even his show?
Is this a show, or is this...
This is on Real America's Voice. I just don't know if it's actually Nugent's own flagship or Rittenhouse's, but it's called Spirit Campfire.
That sounds like Nugent's show.
It sounds like Nugent's show.
It looks like they just set up a tripod in
his hunting lodge.
Sorry, just to confirm, this is Nugent's show.
Yeah,
really
there it is.
Unkempt basement.
So here it is, and Kyle Rittenhouse is trying to, I guess, I don't know. He's trying to change his image a little bit. He's trying to metrosexual up a little bit.
Wearing a Minnesota hat, which I do not appreciate.
But here he goes, and
it's like alt-right Wayne's World.
Here it is.
See this going on with Trump, and I'm just like, I can relate in a way. I see this political prosecution, and it's upsetting because they're doing this to a president,
a good man,
a good person.
Well, I went through this anti-justice system at the hands of Barack Obama.
Incidentally, before we let Nugent go on his rant and rave, but Rittenhouse is saying that, it's wrong what happened to me after I killed those two people. Again, no one disputes whether he killed them with a gun. Everybody agrees that he killed them with a gun, these two people. There are some people who say it was justified, and certainly he was exonerated from the charge of murder. But he did kill two people with a gun. And the idea that, like, why did I go through politics that led me to the criminal justice system is very much analogous to the point that Rittenhouse is making, is like, all that Trump did was stuff that is on its face illegal. The idea that they would bring him in to have to deal with a trial, which incidentally, he's on trial right now for rape. Let's be clear. It started as defamation, but then because New York State basically put an opportunity for statute of limitations to be waived for a certain period of time on sexual assaults, he's on trial for like sexual assault charges in addition to defamation. Rittenhouse is saying, it's just like me.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like the president.
You kill two people, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, wait a second. You're going to have to be involved in the criminal justice system for some point.
I'm really hypnotized by how close their arms are, and if it's just
bumping
touching
each other a little bit, like on the first
bit of
date.
heat.
Well, you got to be, you got to get that whole thing.
You got to ease into it, or grandpa son vibes, can't tell.
Oh, definitely.
I see this going on with Trump, and I'm just like, I can relate in a way. I see this political prosecution, and it's upsetting because they're doing this to a president,
a good man,
a good person.
Well, I went through this anti-justice system at the hands of Barack Obama. Barack Obama, you punk. You horrible anti-American communist.
Say it.
Islamic terrorists. Well, that's going to go in the media. That's what he was. He literally reignited racism in America. Thanks a lot, Barack, and your buddy Mike, and your two fake daughters.
Pause it for 1 second. This is before we get into the Mike stuff. he's saying now Barack Obama reignited racism in the country. And of course, he did that by being black while president.
Yeah. That is very inflammatory, the whole black skin thing.
Yeah, there's no racism during the Bush administration.
Well, but the point is that what in Ted Nugent's mind did Barack Obama do to reignite racism? He literally was like, I'm going to have a beer with the cop who made a black professor basically, get cuffed in his own house. That's the way that he reignited racism in this country. He gave out Obama phones, which was a program instituted under George W. Bush.
And then, they think he said Whitey on a tape that hasn't surfaced yet.
No, that was
Michelle
Obama,
okay,
and it was
right.
a guy named Larry. I can't remember a former CIA guy who supposedly had the tape. But here's Ted with his other sort of conspiracy theory, which I had never heard of. When he says Barack and his buddy Mike and their 2 kids.
I didn't follow until
here you go.
Okay, I was like, who's Mike? Well,
Yes, Mike. Ted Nugent apparently believes that Michelle Obama is actually a guy named Michael. So just go back a little bit and watch Rittenhouse realize
his face right there.
Eyebrows.
I mean,
I love the idea that Rittenhouse is going I shot 2 guys and became a right-wing media star because of it.
But you're going too far.
But you're going too far, dude. Here we go.
And your buddy Mike and your 2 fake daughters. And if I'm wrong, somebody show me a picture of Mike Obama pregnant. Show me a picture of Mike Obama pregnant and show me the 2 daughters in their youth. Show me Mike and Barack snuggling their infants in swaddling clothes. Those pictures don't exist because his wife is Mike. Did you know that?
I did not.
And the daughters aren't theirs. Well, that's a conspiracy theory. Prove me wrong. Oh, my God. And the DA in New York.
Pause it for 1 second. Also, we should note that moment was when Jim Brewer decided to sue Ted Nugent for doing his entire act. Prove me wrong.
He does look like a Brewer character right now.
Totally.
Red face.
Totally. That's all he does. Go ahead.
Prove me wrong. Oh, my God. And the DA in New York, this Bragg monster, and Hunter Biden and Adam Schiff and Falwell and Schumer and Pelosi committing felons on film and nothing happens to them. So
it's just watching this guy just have a total meltdown.
Yeah.
You know what? This really had vibes of
the sleeping pills are starting to kick in.
drunk uncle at Thanksgiving.
When I worked with Gary Busey, there was a similar quality of just but of course, I was directing the show. I had to maintain some type of relationship with him. Rittenhouse, could run away theoretically at that point, but why would he? This is his last stop.
I mean, honestly, have we seen any photos of Michelle Obama swaddling her children?
What the hell?
I mean, the fact that we haven't seen that, the absence of swaddling in photographic evidence means she's Mike.
Of course.
And he's a total nut job, leaning in so close, but not to gloss over just the insane racism of this consistent fixation on Michelle Obama being a man. It's like a way Black women face this in media all the time, where their femininity is washed away and they're made into either over aggressive, masculine, animalistic. It's a very old trope that he's just tapping into there that even makes Rittenhouse uncomfortable. It makes the guy who killed 2 people feel a little uncomfortable. What does that say?
That I don't know.
It just goes to show they're sort of supposed I'm the defender of women right now. It's actually they're going to start suspecting women of being trans and accusing them of that. And also I just the Michelle Obama thing. It reminds me of, it's they don't owe you any sort of pictures of like intimate moments of their life. And Michelle Obama conceived by IVF and had miscarriages. So like the idea that they're bringing this up, I mean, really disgusting.
The kids look exactly like them. Right. The kids look like them. They do this with a lot of black women. They do it with black athletes all the time, black female athletes all the time too, by the way. So,
I mean, compare like what happens on the right with former Democratic presidents and versus like with former Republican presidents. George W. Bush was responsible for killing hundreds of thousands. How many hundreds of thousands really depends on whose numbers you believe. But the minimum is a couple 100,000 innocent Iraqis, right? That's the bare minimum. DOD numbers, you have other like agency NGO numbers that can go up as far as 1 million. But nobody disputes the fact you had 4 million refugees, 2 million interior, 2 million out. Immiserated millions of people. And he's, people are talking about how nice he is because he gives somebody a mint or something. And, he's painting and what a great guy. Meanwhile, the right wing is still talking about the Clintons having murdered Vince Foster 40 years ago.
That's a great point. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Glad we rehabilitated Bush and them.
Oh my
God. It's like, it's Trump that destroyed our democracy as opposed to the guy before.
As opposed to the guy who went on national television in the run-up to the 2004 election to announce that unfortunately, gay people have to be written into the Constitution in second-class citizens. That's when he came out in favor of a constitutional amendment to basically say gay people can't get married. The guy who all the voter suppression tactics that you see today are derived from that era when Karl Rove was basically firing U.S. attorneys who were not coming up with cases of voter fraud. And a lot of these guys were like amenable, but they just came back and were like, I can't find one. I can't find anything to prosecute. You're fired. That's basically what happened. 2005. You know who did not, who did come up with some stuff was Chris Christie. He was pretty good about that.